Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mentor Talk, the unique destination for insightful conversations with experienced professionals. So I'm your host, Suzette, the CEO of Sales Pro for You, and more about me during this episode. So without further delay, I am very glad to welcome today Tatiana Egorova. I hope I pronounced this correctly, Tatiana.
Well done.
Because my Russian, as I told you, my Russian is there, but, I have to practice further.
Feel good.
And Tatiana, I would like to start with a very short description of your background. And afterwards, I like to kick the ball into your corner. And then we can just, start a very lively discussion about what you did in the last years. So if I'm correct, you have more than 30 years of proven expertise in sales, business and development for a finance sector, but also in the food and beverage industry, as well as in the cosmetics industry. So this means you are an expert in B2B as well as B2C, which is for me very interesting because it's a big difference, right? Different, let's say, customers at the end. So, and you have also very strong leadership skills. So this means in the past decades, you have supported different teams, so cross teams. So you have managed and lead teams in marketing as well as sales. And an example which I like to mention here is also that you have been responsible for a startup in the cosmetics industry called Oriflame. And you help them, let's say, to expand in a new market or less in a new region. I guess it was Africa, if I'm right. So, Tatiana, please start talking about your background.
Almost right, but I'm a finance expert. I'm a finance executive. But you're right, working a lot in B2B, in food and beverage, and specifically in beauty and company selling direct. I was in finance. I started with the finance and then developed to the business development. You're right, opening and closing a lot of markets. So that is absolutely correct. Probably I will very briefly talk who am I. Russian, yeah. So I started my career in Russia in 90s when just international companies are coming to Russia. And the company that I joined was Unilever. So that was a startup with a big company. We had 15 people and we had to do marketing, not only finance. So I was a finance, but I had to do advertising, TV and many other things because it is a startup. Great, huge experience, actually. I loved this period. And then I moved to another company that was developing very fast, is Mars company, the American company. At that time, I had the privilege. I was working, replacing people for 6-9 months because people are going to have another education called the ACCA, Chartered Certified Accountant. And I had to replace them and then move myself. And you are right, after that, I moved to Oriflame company. And this is a beauty company selling direct, opening many markets in CIS, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, many other markets. And in 2014, I moved to Switzerland, started to be responsible for Europe and the business development. And you're absolutely right. I was responsible for several years in Africa, a very interesting cultural experience for me. And we managed to develop the business, opening new markets, but also the profitability increase. That was my main focus. And lately, I was also responsible for business development and global assurance, risk and compliance, scenario planning. So we can talk later if you want about that one. And after that, right now, the company is restructuring and I'm moving to the other service, like a consultancy service. I'm helping my, for many years, friend who are developing the business in Europe currently. That's what I'm doing.
Wow, I'm so impressed. Thank you so much, Tatiana, for this for this explanation about your background in a nutshell. The first question I have is obviously going into the direction of startups because this is what Sales Pro for You is, focusing on. So could you give an advice, to our listeners or viewers with respect to how to expand into a new market or region if I am a startup or a scale-up?
Very, very good question. And it depends on the market. Because is it mature market, non-mature market? Second, develop on the strategy. What do you want to achieve? But again, with a startup, what I see and what I'm doing right now myself is back to the basic. First, the basic should be done, and the proper people should be on board. If you have the team and the basic is established, then the development is possible. But what I also see that many startup companies, they have a vision, not always the strategy. This is number one. And the second, some of them are having strategy, but the startup are having very big opportunity, but also risk. Risk, as I was responsible for risk, is associated with opportunities. Then it's so important to create the scenario, because whatever we plan, it will be different. And if startup companies are having different scenario, how it will be developed, it will be much easier for them.
So yeah. With respect to risk management, I believe this is a very important topic, especially if you would like to grow, or to expand into a new market.
Right.
How do I do this properly? Because, you know, I mean, in this case, I would just ask an expert, you know, like you.
Yes and no. The risk level is different. When the company is big, of course, you need to have the big experts who are not only reviewing the risk, but how to mitigate the risk and control. With a startup, control is a little bit on a low level, but this risk and scenario is more what is the main business obstacles the company is having, what could happen, as well as when you associate with the risk, how to mitigate the risk and how to find the opportunity. The startup company, they don't have a lot of money, so they need the management should together discuss and decide what kind of risk, what kind of opportunities, and then how to mitigate, what to do, action, create action plan, and different scenarios. It's not so, by the way, difficult.
Okay, I take this for solid, right? You mean you said it's not so difficult. Okay,
correct.
When it comes to the point of finance, what kind of insights could you share with me? Because you have many years of experience in the finance sector, right?
Right. Number one, the finance is not isolated function. And first, I think that all finance people should be a business partner. For me, the finance is the business partner. It's not isolated. And the business partner is supposed to support the business, control the operation, and make sure that the strategy is implemented correctly. So that is my insight, irregardless what kind of finance function and financial services exist. Yeah.
I mean, you're very, you know, straight to the point when I'm asking my questions. So now I can ask a lot of questions, which is also good for me.
Feel free.
Okay, so I hope you are ready for the next question. So
okay.
I would like to understand, how did you manage, I mean, to expand in the market in Africa? How did you do this? Because maybe, you know, for me, you mentioned it's a super different culture, right? The mentality, I mean, is completely different, right? The startup you supported, so Oriflame, they, I guess they are based somewhere in the EU, and then they try to expand into Africa. Yeah. So it's different. So maybe you can speak about this a bit.
Oh yeah, the culture is, well, it's also Africa is big. Yeah, coming back to the risk and opportunity, there are a lot of opportunities, but countries are very different, super difficult for European at least market to develop. I remember Nigeria, when you cannot convert, transfer money, and also they are very different within Africa. For example, Nigeria is very different from Egypt, or Egypt from Morocco. Cultural difference is huge, and that is the first learning point, that we need to learn the culture. One topic, probably I can spend a little bit more time right now. My experience, we had a tax case in Morocco, and I was responsible and had to visit Minister of Finance, Deputy Minister of Finance. He was, my first language, by the way, French. He was speaking French, but I already wasn't passive, so I had to answer in English. And I remembered and learned as well, you cannot just be straightforward to the topic. You need to say, how are you? So I said, how are you? It's fine. And then you had to talk about the family. And for us European people, it is a shock. It was a big effort for me. And then I had to say, okay, and how is your father? to say that it was so difficult. And then the deputy minister of finance starts smiling and talk a lot about his father, what he is doing, how it is. And then he is asking me, and how's your father? For me, I was really shocked because we don't talk about that with different people. My father passed away, and I said, my father passed away many years ago. And he was saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, yes, but it was many years ago. After that, the conversation was easier. So he was supporting us a lot. But that is a cultural difference, if I can. So we need to learn this one. This number one. Number two is risk averse. So Africa is not a mature market. That is clear. And every time something can, tomorrow you don't know what will be. It might be different from today. So again, scenario planning, we need to be aware about that, and we need to be ready for the changes. But opportunity is big.
Very interesting. Could you maybe also share, maybe it's related to your support at Oriflame or any other company. Could you maybe share your most challenging business success story? So Tatiana, I mean something, what you struggled at the beginning, but finally you succeeded.
Well, many cases actually, because I was responsible as well for crisis management. Crisis management, you struggled from the beginning a lot. And if we are a successful company, like Oriflame, a successful company still, so it means that we achieved that one. But I will not talk about finance. Probably I will again talk about, strangely enough, I'm talking more today about risks. Anyway, I was responsible for, the first day I start to be responsible for compliance and global assurance. Cyber attack is happening in Oriflame, and it was big, and it was about the personal data supposed to be stolen. Fortunately, we managed to protect most of the data, and it was a nightmare. And I did not know so much about cybersecurity and IT, and we had to work over the night, over the weekend to solve the issues. I learned a lot of new words that I did not know. Red team, blue team audit, forensic analysis, but not only learning to understand all these IT words. It was very challenging. And I thought in the middle of this, I thought that we would not be able to solve, but fortunately, we did not have business interruption. We managed to restore the data, to protect the personal data. And what I'm proud, if you are saying what I'm proud of this, so that is solved. I'm very proud of, I was afraid that my team will hate me after that because they had to work super hard. Could you imagine? The person is coming and then they had to work the whole weekends. And actually what they told that it was the best time in their professional life because they learned so much within a couple of months, more than for many years. And they were working as a team. And I think that this was the best rewards for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then you mentioned about teams and leadership. Maybe we can touch this topic as well. So what kind of advice would you give for, becoming, a leader of a team?
I think that many people can read many books about that. But my learning point, number one, is we need to be fair to the team, to say the truth. If we are saying the truth, people do believe to us. That is important. If we cannot say the truth, because there are a lot of confidential information, we have to say we cannot say because it is confidential and people can understand. This is number one. Then number two is to treat people fairly as I would treat myself, and a bit easier because I'm a demanding person, a bit easier. That's what I need to remember about that. But these two are crucial.
I understand. Yeah, very good advices. Maybe you can explain me why you like supporting young companies.
Yeah, I mentioned that I was always first of all, the business partner, controlling the operation and making sure that strategy is implemented. My, motivation is the main motivation is to see the results. And especially when the profit is growing, when you see that sales profit here, it's a successful business. The beauty of the startups, they start from almost zero. And if to support them properly, they can achieve a lot. So to see the success and to be part of this success, this is my motivation. I think this is very, very simple. What I also like, and I now, for example, supporting, this is a bathroom company that are developing very fast, to see how people are also developed. They are very different, but as soon as you support them a little bit, they can achieve so much. And this is like to explore their potential. That is beautiful.
You mean you see the personal growth, right, of the team members? This is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, but again, the financial results, when you see the profitability, I like this one.
So this means you would say you are a number person, yeah?
I'm fully number person, yes. First number, still with people.
Okay, I have a last question. This is a bit, let's say, a personal question, Tatiana. I would like to understand how you balance work and life. I love to ask this question because, you know, for me, it's always a challenge.
Yeah. What can I tell? I would tell that is I'm not balancing. That is, yeah, very difficult, and especially before. I think that I'm much, much better right now, and I learned as well. Actually, if I remember how I had to travel a lot, I was traveling, you see, I was responsible for Africa, 40 markets in Europe. So it's a lot of work. And then you are coming back over the weekend tired, but still you need to do the project presentation. Then over in the evening, sitting on the TV, pretending you are watching, and then answering email, not sleeping well. So I was not good. However, first, I'm improving. And the second, still I put certain priorities in my life. If it is the parent meeting in school, I had to go, whatever, because if I'm not going, that will be. If it is a family serious event, I have to prioritize canceling the travel. So I think that certain things you have to prioritize towards the family. This is number one, and towards the friends as well. Then I am lucky because my husband is supporting me a lot. And when I had to travel, I could not have time cooking, taking care about the house. He can support me. I think that that's what I'm liking. Right now, I see that I had to spend more time, and that is advice of all probably people, at least a weekend, to switch off during the weekend, to meet the friends, to do the activity. I'm in Switzerland, I'm liking going to the mountains, skiing or hiking. And that is very important to have an energy. Yeah, yes. But I'm not the best.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. Do you would like to share with me a last advice, you know, to our listeners, or any kind of insight you just have in your mind you would like to share?
The insight for the companies. Currently, the situation, many markets are very different. I told already many times about scenario planning and the risk. However, always there is an opportunity. And when we are talking about obstacles, that's probably my insight. I see many people are talking about obstacles and problems. If people, and I remember my son was teaching me, I taught him before, when I was tired and upset with some issues, I said, that's a big problem. And he was saying to me, Mom, you need to turn problem into task. And that is my insight and advice. Please, if you have the problem, it's not a problem. It should be your task, and you need to think how to solve that.
Yeah, and that wraps up our enlightening episode of today's Mentor Talk. So thank you so much, Tatiana.
Thank you, Suzette.
It was a pleasure talking to you. I really, I really enjoyed the exchange. And yeah, I would like to close our episode with some insightful words also from my side. Remember, success is a journey, and having the guidance and the wisdom of an experienced professional, for example, like Tatiana, makes all the difference. And yeah, if you have any kind of feedback, or if you want to get support by today's expert, Tatiana Egorova, yeah, please reach out to me. Or if you would like to become part of the mentoring community of Sales Pro for You as an expert, you can email me to mentor@salesproforyou.com. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, Tatiana. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. It was a pleasure for me as well. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye.